Initial scientific findings surrounding the object now known as the Buga sphere, a mysterious flying sphere recovered in the town of Buga, Colombia. The object gliding with purpose until it struck high-voltage power lines and dropped to the ground.
Discovered in Colombia, the remarkable Buga sphere has some interesting features. The metallic sphere generates a strange surge power phenomenon that violates known physics principles. Importantly, this is not a thought experiment. It can be observed. Once investigators tracked its wild path over Buga, Colombia, they located an interesting spherical object. The smooth finish on the surface of the metallic sphere is perfect, and it uniquely extracts from the environment at a continuous rate of power of 100 watts. So, if this bizarre object continually extracts from environmental energy, could humanity be experiencing its first, or one of its first, glances into revolutionary propulsion technology, or is it an alien technology? Join us in our video today as we take a look at Grok 4's Buga sphere and all its mysteries. An MIT physicist has confirmed it. The findings from the MIT physicists provide strong evidence. There is consistent thermal absorption taking place in the spherical object that cannot be explained as a result of environmental temperature differences or chemical actions. There is something even stranger beyond that first discovery. Energy anomalies are merely the visible manifestations of an even more fundamental phenomenon. Grok 4's artificial intelligence model indicates that the sphere has unprecedented control of its mass property. The laboratory measurements were nothing short of extraordinary, while on precision-calibrated scales, the object changed weight from 4 to more than 20 pounds. What theoretical explanation can adequately explain such gross violations of fundamental physical laws? The strange effect on the life of plants immediately in proximity raises equally perplexing questions. These results will challenge the very basis of the present understanding of energy transfers, propulsion systems, and even gravity. The groundbreaking MIT review. A groundbreaking discovery by an MIT researcher has created great scientific interest. Following strict experimental validation, Dr. Chen's lab documented 3 never-before-seen phenomena related to the Buga sphere. Their first observation revealed continuous heat uptake of 100 watts from the surroundings. This strange process was like a small light bulb operating in the opposite way, drawing energy in rather than releasing it outwardly. As opposed to typical thermal processes that decay quickly, this phenomenon lasted for hours of uninterrupted observation. During their second set of experiments, researchers observed instant evaporation of water when droplets contacted the surface of the sphere, which occurs when a hot cooking surface is touched. However, thermal imaging revealed a paradoxical feature. Despite the quick evaporation, the surface of the sphere remained cool to the touch. The thermal energy was being channeled into the metallic form somehow and diverted elsewhere. The third phenomenon was particularly confounding, as common explanations could not account for it. Battery power would result in drain, cryogenic materials would eventually get warm, and phase-change materials would get saturated. And still, the sphere continued to engulf its prey like, merciless energy without even a hint of any limitation. This phenomenon contradicted the most fundamental tenets of physics. No current scientific theory can explain why a body can continue to absorb energy without it being manifested somewhere else in the system, hence violating the principle of conservation of energy. To give an idea of the scope of the implications, consider a refrigerator operating indefinitely without electricity, drawing power from the surrounding air. While the sphere's presentability is small in scale, confirmation of the effect would revolutionize global energy systems. The MIT researchers ended their paper with a bombshell statement. If true, this discovery could fundamentally alter our knowledge of motion, energy, and spatial dynamics. The solution to this enigmatic energy paradox could lie in the ball's pre-trapping behavior. AI Grok 4's radical model. Scientists encountered perplexing data that went against conventional wisdom. Scientists went to see Grok 4, Elon Musk's Gates-Stey's brilliant artificial intelligence physicist. They provided detailed measurements like mass readings, electromagnetic observations, heat measures, and material checks. Grok 4 came up with an unexpected hypothesis. The AI suggested that the Buga sphere has an engineered network that can be used to create negative mass effects. Although negative mass appears to be remarkable, it can also be explained by a common analogy: pulling weight off of a backpack without pulling its contents out. This is counterintuitive. However, the weight of the sphere changed exactly as these theories had predicted. At first weighing around 4 or 5 pounds when first discovered, scientists recorded its steady weight increase over weeks to 16 pounds, then 20 pounds, and eventually 22 pounds, all without any change in dimensions. According to the official research paper, Grok 4 discovered that there is a lattice structure in the sphere. When activated, the structure generates the equivalent of 8.1 kilograms of mass, which is basically taking away 81% of the weight of the sphere. This is the reason why the sphere moved erratically in the air with no visible propulsion. The most fascinating of these was when Grok 4 predicted an energy anomaly, which was later confirmed by MIT. The AI system predicted that the sphere would continuously drain some 100 W of heat from its surroundings, precisely what subsequent measurements verified. Grok 4 proposed an even more outlandish alternative: the sphere might be more than a physics trick. It might contain a hidden quantum computer. The 18 internal microspheres might form part of a neuromorphic system, performing 70 trillion operations per second to manage its unusual physical properties. But if Grok 4 is right, then this sphere isn't just a strange object, it's a blueprint. A hidden machine far beyond our reach. But who built it, and why? What this could mean? The discovery of the Buga sphere uncovers unprecedented phenomena challenging our current conceptualization of physics. If these observed energy and mass anomalies actually exist, they would fundamentally transform many scientific disciplines and technology fields. Let us begin with the production of power. A constant 100-watt output doesn't sound groundbreaking, but the tech behind it is more significant. Scaling it up could provide us with the ability to come up with entirely new methods of energy harvesting. Self-sustaining cooling systems with power fed from environmental thermal absorption, or spaceships' energy supplied by the space itself. Propulsion is another possible application. The balls measured 81% reduction in inertial mass accounts for eyewitness reports of impossible zigzag path patterns. With masses so greatly diminished, very little propulsive force would be required to move an object. This invention could revolutionize space travel. A vessel using the system could travel at incredible velocities and consume very little fuel. Military and defense applications are also worthy of note. A vehicle capable of controlling its mass signature would be very inconvenient for radar tracking systems. This is the reason why UAP sightings so frequently involve accounts of objects appearing to blink on and off from mainstream tracking fields. What makes this story so compelling is that the Buga sphere is not the only one. A second metallic sphere, in June of 2025, was discovered near Buga, Colombia, about 50 kilometers from Buga. The Jumbo sphere had equally peculiar properties, including weight fluctuations and an otherworldly heartbeat-like electromagnetic humming noise, which can be heard up to a 10-meter distance. Both spheres appear to react to stimuli from the environment. Video footage captures the Buga sphere moving more vigorously when exposed to specific frequencies of sound. Scientists now hypothesize that acoustic resonance can interact with whatever internal field these devices generate. Consider this as a possibility. What if these are not individual artifacts? What if these spheres are part of a network, pulsating like hearts as they exchange information with one another? Remember the desolate spot of ground where the Buga sphere touched down? Months later, there is still no vegetation. The sphere imposed a lasting signature on the environment, perhaps to give us insight into how these objects affect our world. The Buga sphere didn't appear alone. It is part of a pattern that has been occurring for decades. A pattern that is getting harder to overlook. The Betts family in Florida discovered a similar metal sphere on their property following a brush fire in 1974. The roughly 20-centimeter diameter sphere exhibited unexplained behaviors in defiance of ordinary physics. The Betts sphere apparently defied gravity and moved independently, as well as vibrated and made sounds when exposed to the guitar music. The family disturbance prompted them to call the authorities. The U.S. Navy eventually looked into it and stated that it was an industrial steel ball, but that response accounted for few of its independent movements witnesses. The coincidence with Buga is striking. Both balls respond to sound. Both move in ways that look impossible according to physical laws. Jump ahead to the Pentagon's 2023 UAP report. Military pilots and drones have observed round objects repeatedly exhibiting behaviors similar to the Buga sphere. These objects travel with impossibly quick agility, present themselves with a metallic sheen, and frequently fall below radar detection. But until now, we've never had one to investigate in the lab. For decades, spheres like these were dismissed as anomalies. But the Buga sphere is the first laboratory-confirmed sample of anomalies. It's the first time that we've made material measurements of energy and mass anomalies that violate current physics. And the shocking news: scientists now believe the Buga sphere harbors a light-based neural network, an integrated brain-like system. The fiber optic fibers discovered inside the sphere through X-ray imaging aren't haphazard. Instead, they form a pattern typical of a photonic neural network. Grok 4's subsequent research estimates that this inner system performs about 70 trillion calculations per second, powerful enough to control the sphere's exotic physics in real time. This would explain how it maintains stability while manipulating its own mass and energy. If true, we're not merely examining an object, we might be observing an autonomous device, something between a drone and an intelligent probe capable of independent operation and decision-making.